Namaste. Today's topic is about grounding, also can be called as earthing, and its health benefits. It's a very simple, easy to do, natural method, but how many of us are actually practicing? So today's session is to bring about more of the awareness sessions, how you can actually practice in day-to-day activities, and once you understand the benefits of it. Hopefully, these benefits will motivate you to start practicing the simple way of grounding and connecting with the Mother Earth. Focus is on what's grounding, why grounding is needed, and what are the ways you can actually prevent many diseases, especially inflammation diseases, in a natural way, and then tip of the day. So grounding, it's the simplest way connecting to the Mother Earth. We call it a Mother Earth. Just let's understand it's just connecting to the Earth. It's full of electrons, and when we walk on a barefoot, the electrons flow from the Earth to us. But how does it actually flow? It's through a protein network. But just let's for now you understand this flow of electrons is actually helping us to heal. It's healing us. It's not only considers as scavenging of free radicals. It's reduce your oxidative stress can also be reduced, and it is basically these electrons helps also as an antioxidants, which helps with the longevity. Just taking a step back, let's first understand where this free radical actually comes and why do you need to earth. So mitochondria, we talked about it in a separate session. Mitochondria, right? It actually whether decides whether you feel energetic or you feel fatigue, right? You feel healthy or you feel disease. So all that actually depends, right? All that decides whether your energy production is actually in what way that's happening. So, and I also call this ATP productions, right, which is a powerhouse of the cell, the mitochondria. So this ATP production, when it is happening, we also call that it's a currency of the cell, right? It is like how much money you have in your bank account or with you. Similarly, how much energy cells that you have in your cell. That's why the ATP production is responsible. But when that process is happening, it is also forms, free radical. That free radical is forming. So when these free radicals are forming, right, what happens? That is definitely not good. So that, along with this ATP production, when these free radicals also form, that needs to be taken care. So there are various ways what can be done, but for today's focus, we will go with the earthing. So this will actually help you. All this negative free radical, which could lead to multiple diseases, including starting with inflammation, but can be quenched just by simple technique, practicing earthing. Okay. So here on the left hand side, you can see the normal cell, right? And here you can see that normal cell on the left hand side. Here what you see is basically when a cell that's attacked by free radicals, what we talked in the previous slide. And if that is continuously happens, then cell with the oxidative stress, right? That is what is leads to your unhealthy cell, which is definitely not desirable. And then what would this also this oxidation, which comes from your previous page, right? During your ATP production, but can also come from various sources depending on your lifestyle, etc. Right? How is your lifestyle? And what kind of radiation that you are exposed to, what kind of toxins that you are exposed in your environment, all that will make a big difference. But balance is the key in this case. What is the balance? That is basically your between the reactive oxygen species and your because there is two process happening, right? Oxidation and reduction. Oxidation is basically and the reduction. When these two process happens, and these two process continuously simultaneously is happening, through if you go through the biochemistry process, biochemistry way. But when what will happen? You always want to make sure the reactive oxygen species is balanced. But if continuously it is increasing, right, it will trigger in a different way, and multiple diseases will start. That can be starting with inflammation. It can end with different organs, diseases in different organs. Once you know your organs could be a cardiovascular disease, etc., it will lead up to uh, cancer. So this is what is the background for today's discussion. Now let's look into earthing. The way I see is basically your original and organic way to get into your solution mode. Because when the inflammation happens, I have seen especially the kids nowadays when they come, um, they are the main root cause. What I see is actually the inflammation, and simply inflammation can be taken care in a multiple way, and that comes from mostly in your lifestyle, from the lifestyle. So just by walking in a barefoot, as simple as that. Even whether you walk for 1 minute or 20 minutes, 20 minutes is minimum requirement. It's an ideal way of, reducing your inflammation. But even if you start with 2 minutes a day, it's still good. There are different ways you can actually do a thing. In the previous days, right? In the olden days, what people were doing, the way agriculture was the way of living, right? They would spend a lot of time from morning, they will also not only work in the field, but they will also eat their lunch and sleep in the field only. So they were actually throughout the day, they were getting grounded, and they were grounding much more than what was needed. And that was one of the reason, even if the medical science was not that, it was not progressed to an extent where we are now. We are actually lucky in that way, but still they were living much healthier in a way, even if their lifespan was less. The brain main because they were getting very good sunlight exposure and also connecting to the nature, a very good grounding that they were doing throughout the day. All that actually led to their best health condition in whatever possible during their era. So I remember, I have seen and I can clearly connect in when I was a child, right? Especially during my primary school times, I would see a lot of this kind of scenario where people will start going to the field in the morning. And if you see, right, they are so nicely getting grounded while they're doing their work and also getting organic food. Now, getting organic food is becoming one of the challenge, especially for the fertility couple, because they try to reduce the toxins, but they actually are not able to. Even if you get it from the organic store, they say no, it is not reliable. But see here, it is getting exposed to sunlight, grounded, and at the same time getting organic food. So now let's understand from Deepak Chopra, well known in terms of the healing and spiritual world, right? What is this? Is grounding is definitely takes care of free radical damage, right? What we talked about, but it also through grounding, one's biological clock, what we can also connect to the circadian rhythm, is getting aligned with Earth, universal, and cosmic rhythms, because earth rotates around the sun. So taking care of free radical damage is very, very important, right? And so what Deepak Chopra is saying is that, of course, when you get grounded, it helps with taking care of the free radical damage. Also, through grounding, one's biological clock, which is basically circadian rhythm, is also getting aligned with the cosmic rhythms, and is the basis for your healing. So whatever is the mechanism, whatever is the route could be, what it definitely does is it definitely heals you. Okay. So the mechanism, if we look it out here, right? So this is the nucleus. And here what we can see, if you see the here, right, this helical proteins. And this helical proteins, this is basically the hydration sheet, because water acts as a integral part in the cells. And that helps not only, what we talked about, right? Water is the essence of life. So here what happens when what this protein actually acts as a carrier for the electrons. This electron transport happens through this, but there is a lot of this kind of a network, which whether we call it is, cytoskeleton, or we call it is a collagen, or it is also called fascia. Through that, it is actually connected to your different organs. So basically, through that, your entire organ, entire human being is connected through that collagen. Through that collagen and fascia, through that connective tissue. And what happens when this protein actually acts, that's why protein is important for you. And we talked also in separate session. So therefore, this protein actually helps to transport these electrons that we receive from the earth. And the right side, thus you can see this is a scientific research article and they have nicely published it. So if you're not connecting, here basically you put shoes and you are without shoes, right? Barefoot. When you're connected, the electrons actually, that is what you can see filled with electrons, and that is what is helping. Here what happens when you have injury, that means there's a lot of free radicals that's there. And these free radicals, right, these free radicals, what is happening there is basically is causing that inflammation. But here that free radicals are getting quenched and therefore starts the healing process. So that is the basic mechanism that happens for any benefits that we talk going forward. This is also called, like any other vitamins, this is also called vitamin G. And this is also called the vitamin G, because G is comes from grounding, because this is also an essential element. It definitely harmonizes and stabilizes the body's basic biological rhythm, what we talked, right, from Deepak Chopra. So that is very nicely talked. And we are underestimating, especially in today's world, when we are staying in high rise and all. Anyway, we are already depleted with connecting to the mother earth. Right? We also call that, you get a lot of vitamin G, because this grounding helps you with reducing your inflammation, as we understood from the previous slide. But it does, once you get grounded, it actually harmonizes and stabilizes the body's very basic, fundamental biological rhythms, which actually helps to for improving your efficiency, because your bioelectrical system, right, is managed much better way. Now let's look at few benefits quickly. So this is effect on cortisol, stress hormone. So what happens before grounding and after grounding? So for the studies, they have used different earthing products such as earthing mat, etc. And this graph I've taken from this research article. Process at time t0. If you see the cortisol level, right, that changes, that fluctuates a lot. And it's always high at 8 a.m. because as we expected, right, after morning sunrise, the cortisol levels are high, so that you starts to do your daily activities. You get to start your routine, and cortisol is needed for that. But if you do the grounding, right, it is very, very controlled. The fluctuation is very, very less. Here, someday, based on your emotional level, based on how things were going, your stress level was changing a lot. And you can see the effect of the grounding. Your stress is very controlled, which is extremely important for your, good health and your mental performance. Here you can see the reduction in inflammation. Here they have taken a thermal image. The red basically are, peak inflammations, basically where the inflammation is there. These are the areas where you can see the inflammation. After 4 nights of sleeping grounded, you can see those inflammations are completely gone. And you see a very nice, differentiation, that reduction in the inflammation. Similarly, in the knee, right? There was a knee pain, and after 30 minutes of just using the earthing method, and what was done, actually, you can see that this red, yellow, right? That inflammation is reduced. So it's clearly from this two image, it is very clear from this thermal image that there is a clear and rapid resolution to inflammation. A lot of people are suffering through the knee pain, and especially the elderly people. This kind of a solution could be a big, big help to them. And the viscosity, blood viscosity, right? When without any kind of any grounding, there is a lot of free radicals in your blood, right? What happens? They starts to coagulate. But when there is actually proper grounding, the free radicals are balanced. This you can see, right? They are nicely separated out, and the blood viscosity has gone down, which is critical for your, for functional of your different tissues and organs. So this kind of a reduced blood viscosity plays an important role in when you have lot of free radicals, when you are not properly grounded, right? You can see this kind of a clotting, right? But when after the grounding, you can see this kind of a nicely separated out, and the blood viscosity has gone down. It's extremely important for, efficient functioning of in your different organs, because blood, it circulates through your entire human body. Now, this earthing also helps you, from in terms of the managing a stress level. Let's look in different angle. So we know that our nervous system, right? Your sympathetic nervous system, it gets into the fight and flight mode, whereas your parasympathetic system that actually activates when you are in more of the rest mode, right? It is helps with improving your digestion. It is actually decreases your heart rate, decreases your blood pressure. So that is something that is what is needed. Of course, you need a balance of this, because you need this fight and flight mode to save your life, but you also need the parasympathetic system so that you are not stressed out all the time. So when you are grounded, it also helps you to shift to parasympathetic system, right? Parasympathetic nervous system. Because when people are grounded, they're connected to nature, they already automatically feel relaxed. You automatically feel relaxed, especially when you are in the sea beach, right? People feel in a flow, in a state of flow, because this helps you to get into the parasympathetic mode. This is another one which basically for the wound healing. This is the baseline for the wound healing, right? You can see this is a 84-year-old woman. I think she was going through she had diabetes, and you can see, right? And this was there for 8 months. But after going through the earthing process, if you can see that after 1 week, what kind of a heal, and this was there for 8 months. Okay, and now after 2 weeks, this is almost recovered. See the power of this earthing. We underestimate, just walking on a barefoot, connecting to the nature. We think, oh, we'll have to do. It's coming on our way in terms of what we do. I don't know what important work you do. I'm sure you do important work, but also make sure that you find some time to heal yourself. Connecting with the nature, and especially one thing, if you can take it in today's stressful world, if it helps you to shift to parasympathetic nervous system, just go ahead, spend some time, listen to the music, talk to friend while walking on the nature, while walking on the barefoot in the grass or in the sand, if you're closer to sea beach, if you have access to that. And this is another one. It's very interesting, right? And also, if you can see, they've taken, used a laser contrast camera, and they did initial picture, of course, and then after 20 to 30 minutes of 20 to 30 minutes of grounding, they did again another picture. And here you can see the red, yellow, what we did not want during our knee pain, back pain, etc. Now here it shows, because the improved flow, the circulation has improved, the blood flow has improved. Because some of the areas when there is not blood flow, and that is also another reason, for the anti-aging. Anti-aging, many factors, but clearly this blood flow, improves in blood flow is a key for the anti-aging effect. So they also see a potential for anti-aging when you go for grounding. Nowadays, we are all exposed to different radiations, all type of radiations. So here you can clearly see when they were not grounded, they used a grounding mat here. You can see definitely certain voltage, right? As soon as she started putting the hand on the mat, this is the grounding mat, what you can see in the picture. The voltage drops significantly when earthed, right? Here you can see 3.2, here almost 0.02. So that is very, very important, right? That means what it happens is actually you are connected to you are more synced with the nature. And also it is probably potentially creates a shielding around you, so that whatever is the radiation that's coming, it can be like imagined as it's reflecting back, right? You getting impacted with all that electromagnetic field that is you all are surrounded with, either your Wi-Fi, your phone, whatever it could be, right? It's another, I personally feel this is a big, advantages. There are many advantages, and this research article is nicely, summarized it. In the face, as you could say, right, improve the circulations. It have helped to reduce the stress, moving from sympathetic nervous system to parasympathetic nervous system. Also, it actually lowers your blood pressure. It calms down. It also respiratory, right? Actually, it improves blood oxygen, because your lot of stressors, right? Your your, what we call, your oxidative stress, right? All that oxidation, that is free radicals, that is moving, that is actually reduced. So that will help a lot. And the digestion, it calms, any kind of a bloating, all that you had from your gut tissue, which could be reason from the stress, that will also be helped, because all many of these are interconnected, right? This helps, so that with the consequences that you get something works better. And since that works better, so this is also working better. So all of them are interconnected and cascading effect at the same time. Also, it helps with a hormonal rhythm. I mean, there is a very nice articles, there's a very nice blog, I could say, that in grounding helps with fertility. I mean, there's no quantitative data what I could say, but when it reduces stress, right, definitely it will help with fertility. And also when your circulation is improved, it definitely will help with fertility. When your inflammation is reduced, it will definitely will help with the fertility. When there is enough blood flow, right, of course there is an aging effect also, right? It slows free radical damage. Therefore, anti-aging effect you can see. Electrical sensitivity, right? We saw a significant drop in the voltage, right? The reduced voltage that improves your electric, induced by the electrical environment, right? So that helps you because this grounding actually helps you to take, it's kind of a creating a shielding effect around you. And then because there is inflammation is reduced, a lot of chronic disease will be automatically reduced. Of course, your bones, joints, all that also, the functionality also can be improved because your inflammation is reduced, your blood flow has improved. And since you are taking care of the very basic fundamentals, of course, right, the energy will be also much, 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 much better. So we understood the benefits, and the simplest solutions, let's look it out in a more natural way, organic way. Just this one, as usual, walking on a barefoot or lying down on the grass, right? If not, right, sometimes when some of you are actually in a cold country and you might not be able to actually see the grass because it is snowing, etc. You can hug a tree, right? You don't have to touch the root of the tree, but you can actually touch whatever is accessible to you. This is very, very good. I myself have done and I really like it. And while doing that, you just hugging a tree, you just close your eyes. You feel so connected. It takes to another world. Another point, it's called grounding point, or what I call is the grounding point, that's kidney one. Okay, this is specifically when you have headache, anxiety, when your mind is somewhere, you need to bring it down, you need your mind to be grounded. And this point is specifically called grounding because it, of course, touches to the feet, it touches to the ground also, right? And that gets connected. So this K1 point connecting to the earth, that accelerates, that is the best point to get grounded. So where exactly is you can press this point for around 20 to 30 seconds before going to sleep every day. And also make sure that you follow that grounding technique. Okay, where exactly is this point? You can see this area and this bulged area, right? Bulging area. So the intersection where it is, that is actually the point K1. So you can use this point for, best point for grounding. And K1, which is basically your kidney element, right? That kidney organ that is connected to the water element. And water element plays an extremely important role from the, from the Oriental world, but also as you saw, right? Proteins actually helps to transfer the electrons, but there is an hydration area around it, right? That what you can also be used as a EG water, right? Exclusive zone water. So that from various angle, whether you take it is from scientific perspective or from the another angle, right? In both the way, having an balancing the water element in your body is important. So I have seen many cases where people are getting dehydrated, and make sure you drink enough water, you balance the water element in the body, whatever technique you follow, and press this K1 point and watch a movie. The Earthing movie, it's very nice. A lot of things to learn from that movie. So the homework for today's session is grounding as applicable. Walk on the barefoot or sea beach or, hug a tree, or if it is needed, you can use a grounding mat, right? Grounding seats, those are available in the market. And that you can see the review and buy it. That will also help you. You can sit while working on those grounding mats. You can sleep on those grounding mats. So that will also help you. Whatever way that works out, you just do follow the grounding and balancing the water element in the body. Press the K1 points and make sure that it's touching to the ground. And watch the movie unearthing. So, as usual, your health is in your hands. Of course, nobody else will own it, right? It is in your hands. Make sure you own it today by acting on it. Okay, make sure health is your priority. And some of the things you can be negotiable, some of the things cannot be negotiable. And I always feel taking care of your health should be a priority, because when you are not healthy, you cannot literally function. Whatever is your job type, whatever is your work type, will definitely be affected. When you're healthy, you will function at your best. I wish you all the best. Have a happy, joyful, sustainable life, healthy life. Enjoy your healthy journey ahead.